Good morning. What's in the news today? If you ask me, what are the latest developments in Middle East peace talks? Which criminal did what, when and where in Miami? I couldn't tell you. I would probably make a reasonable guess, but I really wouldn't be able to tell you. 10 years ago, I could give you details on everything. And that's because I was an avid consumer of the news. Let me be upfront with you. I stopped watching the news 10 years ago. And my friends thought I was crazy. I couldn't tell you if Stormy Daniels was a horse in the 7th race at Gulfstream Park or some celebrity in Hollywood. My friends just laughed at me. And I'm sure many Toastmasters and friends would be incensed or maybe a little put off by my casual attitude towards the news. After all, I work in higher education. Why wouldn't I be on top of current affairs? But before we hasten to, let's say, make comparisons, let me tell you what has happened since I stopped watching the news. I've become a happier guy. I am healthier. My kids think they have this wonderful, easygoing guy for a father. And after many, many years, even my wife starts to laugh at my jokes. After many, many years. And that has made me a better person. Now, I did not quite understand why the change in attitude of my family towards me until I ran into a diagnosis called vicarious trauma. Vicarious trauma is a condition that many first responders, healthcare givers, and social workers, along with military and law enforcement personnel, experience after working in a traumatic situation. However, that can be transferred to ordinary citizens who consume the news. It has been shown that if you consume more than an hour of traumatic news, you are much more likely to suffer the symptoms of vicarious trauma. Vicarious trauma, the symptoms of vicarious trauma include a feeling of helplessness. What if the Korean dictator decided to fire up the missiles? What do we do? There are feelings of depression. There are feelings of intrusion into our thoughts, a lack of focus as these events replay in our minds. There are also physical consequences. Some people report pain, neck pain, back pain, sleeplessness, and sometimes too much sleep. All are symptoms of vicarious trauma. It's been found that 70% of news programs report traumatic or violent events. And the broader population feeds on that information and they quietly suffer some of these symptoms. Sometimes they don't know why. Why am I feeling this way? If you're feeling this way, or you exhibit any of those symptoms, and you recognize those, try and turn it off. Turn off the TV, the news channels. Turn off the tablets, turn off your phones. In fact, get involved in other activities. Do like I'm trying to do. I'm trying to exercise Learn a new recipe. Learn gardening. Do things that you have not done before, or you might even try to be a positive influence in your community by joining public service organizations. Those have been found to be very positive distractions from the symptoms of vicarious trauma. And of course, if you run out of ideas on what to do to fill that gap of time, you can always join one more Toastmasters Club. After you've been a Toastmaster.